Morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke with Reverend Yataka Yamada. Today being Saturday, the 16th of October or the 11th of September in the 9th year of Chongalguk. So let's begin by offering a bow to our Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Chariot, Jambe, Hado. And let's recite our family pledge in Korean and English. Thank you.
가전맨세 7. 전국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심전문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 7. Our family, the owner of Chongalguk, pledges through living for the sake of others to perfect the world based on the culture of heart, which is rooted in the original lineage by centering on true love. I'll just offer the prayer this morning. Dear Heavenly Parents, we're very grateful to come together as always to greet you, to begin this new day, to begin this day centered upon your words, your heart, and your will. As always, Father, we pray that the world can come to know you deeply, can come to know, your heart, the heart that you have at this current moment, this heart of, desperately seeking to save every individual, every family, every living being that ever existed, so that, we really become one family. We pray always for the health and safety of our true mother, that she can fulfill her promise to you and that we can support her. We know that she's the only begotten daughter and the substantialization of the Holy Spirit. And her only desire is to truly protect and save her children. We want to be able to make the necessary foundations and efforts, and to be able to support with the coming restoration and unity of North and South Korea. We know today there is the think tank 2022 with the public viewing of the first in the series, with Mike Pompeo, and that many people can see this and see that truly North and South Korea will be united. The kingdom will be substantialized. Chongalguk will take place, and it will take place not by human power alone, but together with you, our Heavenly Parent, who's been striving to lay the plan, lay out all of the pieces so that they all fit in at the right moment, and then fully success can come about. So we ask your presence here today as we share your heart and words, so that we can invest ourselves wholeheartedly and to really build that unity that represents one global family. So thank you for your guidance, and we offer you this in our collective names and in our names, John and Shizuadami, the blessed central family. Arju. Thank you, and let's welcome Reverend Yataka as he shares with us this morning. Yay.
Good morning, our brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining today's morning Hundoke. Today is the Saturday, nearly the end of the week and the beginning of the week from tomorrow, right? How was last 7 day, and how about our new 7 day? Yet we are grateful to gather together to offer sincere devotion to our Heavenly Parents and to parents. Let's offer and let's pray our heart to our Heavenly Parents and to parents. Yesterday was the 21st anniversary of True Parents' visitation of Marshall Island, October 15, 2021. So really yesterday was a great time. Our Reverend Ito organized the commemorational meeting together with Honorable Kessai Note, the former president of Marshall Island, and currently he is also the Minister of Justice in the Marshall Island government, and together with President Hori and also the Reverend Stone. So Reverend Ito share the history of Marshall Island. That 21 years ago, when two parents visited to Marshall Island, that time Honorable Kessai Note asked the current president to welcome two parents as the state guest and to spend the time the fishing together with two parents. And the final day of the fishing, two father fish 4 significant fish representative of kind of a symbol of Oceania. Then after that, two parents gave the blessing for the era of Oceania. So this visiting was the stepping stone toward what later would be the declared at the ocean providence. That's why that moment was really a great time. So this is Kessai Note also gave the speech, and the President Hori and the Reverend Stone. So anyway, this is our meeting itself is small meeting, but really our president, former president, Honorable Kessai Note, even he received many kind of persecution in the government or people, but 21 years never changed, and still now continuously support us whenever we request. If there is some kind of the event, always he support and really contribute. And he have also close relationship with Japanese political leaders and also Japan itself, because I heard his father is Japanese lineage and his mother is also Japanese lineage. So really the Japanese descendants he really love and really support so much. So when we see our nation of Oceania, 14 nation, so each nation is actually small island nation, but how about now bigger nation is coming to the Oceania region, China, America, or bigger influence is coming. So 14 nation, if doesn't cooperate, unite together, as what your father mentioned, as the one country of Oceania, then really each nation is facing difficulty. So really President Kessai Note always support. And now is the senior political leader of Oceania. He continuously support and also guide another nation. So we could see even now COVID cases, there are many important leaders in each nation. That's why even we cannot meet directly, but through online, through Zoom, through webinar, we can meet, we can talk, and we can share the heart. So this is just actually really great things. So maybe in your nation or in your cities, even cannot meet directly, but you can organize those kind of a small meeting, then we can meet together, right? Our VIP, even our blessed family gathering, we can gather together to share our heart. Then we can continuously create our artistic relationship and also the future. So thank you, our Reverend Ito. Yesterday, 21st anniversary, number 21 is also historical number, a providential number. So yesterday meeting was really great. President Hori also gave the great message. So thank you, everyone. And today, we will have the Think Tank 2022. So Honorable Mike Pompeo, as the keynote speaker, will give the speech. So he is one of the major political leader in America, and Chilmada called them and call him and call the people and to come to join those Think Tank 2022 or Rally of Hope. So those things is happening now. This is also the great signal for showing and to develop our movement especially unification between North and South Korea, how we can create the environment externally and also internally, and also the spiritual world together. That's why today, from 9 a.m. Sydney time and 9 a.m. Korean time, so please join through Peace Link and enjoy and put your heart and pray together for unification between North and South Korea. So thank you very much. Like this, everyone. So today also, let's continue our Father's message, the true family and I. So now, after a declaration of the founding of Family Federation for World Peace, True Parents did the world speaking tour. Not only on South America, not only North America, even True Parents came to Oceania and gave the speech. That's why through reading this True Parents message, we could find again and we could feel and connect with our True Parents' heart. So let's see that. Okay. And also when we listen the father and mother's word, sometimes those messages really strong, because many times True Parents emphasize to let us know what is the lacking point, what is really many fallen nature or problem part, especially have to overcome our struggling or lack many fallen nature, individual level, family level, or between relationship between husband and wife, parents and child. But through learning or listening God's word, when we accept, when we realize, and when we reflect ourselves, even including repentance, then our heart and ourselves can be connected, can be closer to our Heavenly Parents more and more. So even every day, there are many events, many kind of providential activities. Of course, important to focus the providential activity in order to really restore the people and society and world. But in the same time, also have to focus myself, focus our family, how our family can become the true family, how our relationship between husband and wife can become the relationship of true couple, and how we can become true men and true women. So both sides, for bigger public purpose, for providential things, and also how we can become ideal individual, ideal family, and ideal tribe. So these both things we have to go together. So today also, let's continue. The Bible teaches us that because of having sinned, Adam and Eve were expelled from the Garden of Eden. Once they had been driven out of the garden, they began to multiply children. God could not follow and bless them in marriage. Thus, we need to ask, under whom did they marry? We can conclude that because of having fallen into sin, they married under the auspices of Satan. So they got marriage not under God's blessing. They got marriage under Satan's dominion. So this is the sad history. This is the starting point of our human family and the human history. When they love each other, when they have a sexual relationship, what kind of feeling did they have? Did they have with joyful heart, or loving heart, or excitement heart, or what kind of heart? Even they meet each other, but they didn't have the pure joyful heart or lovely heart. When they have a relationship, always they had a guilty feeling, and always their heart is talking, you should not do this one, you should not do this one, you should not do this one, this is not right way, this is not right way, this is really making the problem of committing sin. when Adam and Eve have sexual or love relationship, their heart is those kind of conscious or guilty and painful heart. So when they have the relationship with this kind of heart, then what kind of result, what kind of fruit will come? That's why all children from their result become the sin with inheriting the Satan's blood lineage. That's why Father is mentioning this is the starting family, starting moment of our human lineage. So when we see our ancestors, when we see our starting point, their marriage or their relationship is not with joy, not with true love, not is with God. This is under Satan, under struggling, under guilty, and those kind of conflict moment was a starting point of our history, our lineage, and also our human people, human beings. The root of fallen love, live and the root of fallen love, life, live and lineage. The fallen consisted of Eve being tempted by Satan and her later temptation of Adam. Therefore, when our ancestors Adam and Eve established a relationship of conjugal love, that relationship was unhappy and conflict-ridden. Today, humanity still has its root in that relationship. We cannot separate from the origin of that struggle between mind and body. So from starting moment, they didn't think God's situation first. They didn't think their parents' situation or wish or hope first. They thought that their own happiness, own willingness, and own desire first. This is the starting point. Satan tempted Eve. Of course, Satan have the responsibility, but who have a main responsibility of committed sin? Even Satan, even Lucifer tempted Eve, but if Eve had rejected Lucifer, or if Adam rejected Eve, then what's happened? Fall was never happened. And Lucifer never become the Satan also. So of course, as Lucifer have many kind of the lack of love, many kind of feeling. But who is the representative of God? Who is behalf of God? Who is the subject? Actually, Adam and Eve is the subject as the children of God. So if they are stand as the central position as the universe and central figure as the children of God and totally unite with God's heart and totally unite with God's wish, then those problem even for itself never happened. That's why that's attitude of their attitude at that moment always shift the responsibility, blaming others and multiply the sins. Those attitude is inherited to the children, grandchildren, and descendants. So we could see those attitude when we see ourselves. Actually, we have many kind of lacking point. So Father is mentioning this Adam's family. When we study the Adam's family, actually we can see the many kind of story and many kind of common point of our human fallen natures. So first couple or first family, how it was important and how it was really sad and a critical moment. The fall began with immoral love due to a love relationship that God did not desire. Adam and Eve united with Satan. They did not become the ancestors of goodness. They became the ancestors of evil, thus creating the roots of fallen love, fallen life, and a fallen blood lineage. That's why Father is mentioning the story, especially emphasizing about love and life and lineage. How was our love and life and lineage? Is God's love, God's life, and God's lineage, or Satan's love, fallen love, fallen life, and fallen lineage? So we have to change, we have to connect back to God again. If this is true, what began as one foreign family grew into tribes, nations, and the world. It is a world whose more than 5 billion people, at that moment maybe 5 billion people, present day humanity are descendants of Satan. It is undeniable that we inherited the lineage of evil parents. No one knew Satan's blood was present within our bodies, and that this was so displeasing to God. This is the essential problem. So when we really understand, when we really see, or when we really recognize our heavenly parents, then how much our existence itself with enemy's blood lineage, Satan's blood lineage, how much this is the painful things and really the sad things to our heavenly parents. That's why Father is mentioning, because we didn't know and we could not recognize our existence and our reality and our starting point, even including our God's heart, our heavenly parents' heart. How will we eliminate those roots within us? Satan dug his roots into our physical body through the fallen lineage. You have to understand that if humankind had not fallen into sin, our minds and body would have naturally become one. It is because of the fall that there is a conflict between the conscience, which has a positive charge, and the body, which also have a positive charge, making it inevitable that they resist each other. This is the starting point of all the struggles in history. So we have to really solve this problem. Father mentioned that you have to understand that if humankind had not fallen into sin, our minds and bodies would have naturally become one. So inside of our body, there is Satan's blood lineage. So starting point, their attitude of life is not living for the sake of others, not living for God, not living centering on the original nature. Their heart was centering on selfishness, struggling, guilty, and even repentance. So this is the starting point. So we have to solve all these things. We could find those signal sign even from our attitude. God works to separate good from evil and thus reverse this situation. God is public-minded and continue on the path of living for the fall and going toward the goal of love and peace. On the other hand, Satan is selfish and individualistic. Satan is always trying to destroy the good side through hatred, evil, and war. His intent is to prevent that earth from ever returning to God's side. So we could see God's strategy and we could see the Satan's strategy and Satan's direction. Which direction actually our heart will be happy, living for the sake of others and live for whole, or living for myself, centering on selfishness, or living for individualism. Which one is really happy? Do we feel the happiness of our heart? Live for the God side or live for the Satan side? When we follow the consciousness, and we could feel the more happy. And when we go to the another way, evil way, what do we feel? We will feel kind of the guilty feeling from our conscience also, right? Can we think can we think the opposite way? When we do good things, do we feel some kind of guilty feeling of evil mind? Why you do good things? Do we feel this kind of heart? When we do the good things, we don't feel any guilty feeling. When we do the bad things, we feel guilty things, because how about our starting point? Actually, we are started as the God children, God's nature. That's why our conscience, if we do the bad things, always conscience is alerting us and teaching us in order for us not to go to that different way. God cannot severely push humanity for having gone with Satan. God's strategy for returning humanity to his side is to allow evil to attack. Later, God can claim reparations for the undeserved damage and abuse. Satan's strategy is to strike first, yet in the end, he loses everything. Laugh out history, Satan, I think throughout history, Satan has tried to ruin God's plan with hatred, evil, and war, while on the contrary, God has been working to recreate love and peace. So God's strategy, this way is not simple way. God let evil to attack first and to be stricken first. That's why what's God's strategy? Just even they hit us and they strike us or attack us, but continuously patient and patient and patient, and later take back everything with the condition of love and condition of heart. This is the really God's strategy. So when we see the old history or central figure, they show us how we can overcome and do the natural subjugation. So actually those way we learn and we listen, and learning and practicing is, I think, different things. When we listen, when we study, last time also we mentioned about the Jacob and Esau, we learn, we could understand in order to love, in order to really restore the relationship between Jacob and Esau, that way to serve, sacrifice, and love and give everything. This is very good way. We could understand. But how about the practicing these things to love enemy and sacrifice and give everything? It's really not easy things. Instead of giving everything to enemy, better just cut the relationship to have own life. How easy to do our lives. But really God's hope, God's providence, God's will, God's history is really to restore Satan, to bring them back, because they are also, even the enemy, they are also Cain figure, and they are brother and sisters. Finally, everyone should come back as one family. In the last days, humankind will return to God's side, and evil will lose support and respect. To prevent that from happening, Satan introduced atheistic materialism, humanism, and communism. That was the essential cause of the Cold War that took place following the Second World War, when the victory of the Christian world could have led to a transition toward a world of peace. That's why even we are living under those conflict with God's side and Satan's side, in selfishness, materialism, materialism, and the humanism, communism. Even we are facing those battle, but we should recognize who is the subject behind all conflict and things. We should also understand those subject of evil, and also existence of God and God's hope. We try to love God. Which one is easy to recognize? Are we easier to recognize God? Are we easier to recognize Satan? Which one is easier for us to recognize? We should recognize God. We should really feel and understand God, and in the same time, we should also feel and understand Satan. Even Lucifer came back, but that group of Satan or evil spirit, they are still existing. So we could also understand that. then we can connect back with God's heart. The present era is the era of the realm of individualism, of free sex, of children denying parents and parents denying children, and the era of denying the couple through homosexuality and lesbianism. An attempt is being made to completely destroy the family ideal. The Messiah at the second coming intends to establish that ideal in order to change hell on earth into the kingdom of heaven on earth. The Messiah, as a true parent, desires the unity of mind and body, the unity of husband and wife, and the unity of children. So we are living the final moment to conclude the all past restoration history and to opening and to create, build the era of Choniguk. That's why we could see now society situation and also the God's direction, how we can create and bring them back to the right way, centering on God, centering on heavenly parents, centering on true parents. So Father mentioned that the present era is the era of the realm of individualism, of free sex, of children denying parents and parents denying children, and the era of denying the couple through homosexuality and lesbianism. An attempt is being made to completely destroy the family ideal. So we could see many realistic current situation in the society. So those things which God hate and doesn't like, and yeah, it's not easy to accept. So those family or even society, or especially selfishness or individualism, is strong movement centering on our culture. So how we can change to the original nature, original culture, original nations. That's why Father mentioned the Messiah as the true parents desires that unity of mind and body, the unity of husband and wife, and unity of the children. When Messiah come, when second coming come, when true parents come on this earth, they will lead and initiate to change the society from satanic individualism world to God, true love, culture, and nation and the world. So today we are sharing about the message of true parents, the true family, and I. So when we see that those history, we could see how Father is directly mentioning not only Bible story, Bible history, also talking about the problem and also the conflict, current situation in individualism, a current situation in the individual level, and also in the society level. So how we can recognize and put this agenda again and solve again. Last week, we established also the PCLC. Actually, Christian or religious leader, they could recognize. And in the leader of the society, they could recognize also the social problems. That's why how we can discuss with them, not just witness those leaders, not try to change their religion. We can put this agenda together, discuss together how to make an ideal society, how we can create ideal nation or beautiful culture in our nation. This become the common agenda, how we can bring back the face of God. So through Father, through Mother is mentioning and gave us those message. So we are also come together to learn and carry on, and we will go together with our Heavenly Parents' will and true parents' will. So we are really grateful to live together with our true Mother now, Tower 2022-2027, this special time period. Let's put our Johnson and the heart and really create our beautiful culture from our family, from our tribe, and society, nation, and world. So today is Saturday. There are many kind of event today. Let's have also great time and offer the happiness to our happy parents. Thank you very much once again. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Thank you very much, Reverend Yutaka, for as always, making the Father's words and so real, and to help us have a clearer understanding. I had a few thoughts. I was just reflecting on the word married by the auspices of Satan, and auspices means to protect and support and to sponsor and guide, to get approval and authority. So it should have been the auspices of God instead, under God's protection and support and sponsorship and guidance. But it ended up, we were looked after by Satan, and that's Adam and Eve were expelled because God couldn't relate because of the sin, because they were their blood was tainted. Satan's blood is in our bodies, and we forget how hard it is to remove something. I often use the example when I teach that part of salt water and pure water, that Adam and Eve were like pure water, but the angels were like salt water. And when you mix salt water with pure water, no matter what, you always end up with a salty water. So I was thinking about that word auspices. That's one of the things about the fall. It's Satan's grip on us is not done with heavy pressure. It's not done with like a slave sort of situation, even though we're enslaved. It's done through protection and support because we don't know anything else. So that makes it even harder, because people are growing up thinking that being individual is normal, that the individual is number one. But Father is public-minded because God is public-minded and thinking of us. And then I started to think about conscience, and how our conscience is positive, and because of the fall, our body is positive. And no matter what we do, I mean, obviously two positives always are repelling every time you try to push them closer. I was thinking that, and then the other thing that caught my mind was Messiah as true parents. We often, because of our individual thinking, it was quite a amazing thing to realize that Messiah is parents, that Messiah is both male and female. We always thought that Messiah is just one. We can be fixed with only one person, but not. The Messiah is two. And I remember in Solomon Islands, when we taught the conclusion, we would just show a picture of true parents after we finished and say, here's the Messiah, and then we'd show a picture of true parents, and they happily accepted. So living a public-minded focus, and recognizing that we absolutely need true parents, because we have to change our focus so that we are always putting public first. So those were just some of my thoughts when I was listening to Reverend Yutaka, and thank you. And I'll open it up to others. Thank you. Yes, Randall, go ahead.
I've been thinking about the four fallen natures recently as well, and that the whole thing of with Adam and Eve, the focus was not lust. The four fallen natures doesn't talk about lust. The sex was almost like a byproduct. It was like a symptom after going through the four fallen steps, basically. And it starts off with that selfish point of view. So we've got yin and yang, and you're just looking from the yin point of view, or you're just looking from the yang point of view. And I want this to be good. And you're not looking from the holistic point of view. You're not trying to include both sides. You're not trying to include God. And if you try to see it from both sides of you and, understand the other person's point of view, then, Eve wanted to do something good. She wanted to be better. She wanted to be like God. This is what the archangel came up to her and said, if your eyes will be open and you'll be like God, from her point of view, but not from the holistic point of view, not from the, overall big picture. And so many times when people do, mistakes trying to do good, then it's, oh, oops, sorry, it was good intentions, but they're not looking from the holistic point of view. When Father was saying that it's the individualism, it's, bringing it down to something narrow, when we were studying VOC, Victory Over Communism, then they were saying the way that Satan tries to overtake an individual is the same way that communism was using to overtake a country. And one of the big things is feeling alone, feeling isolated. Internally, externally, I'm isolated from everywhere else. And also include that with internal conflict. And so with a country, they would, for example, there was a big push with South Africa. They would make this whole thing, everybody isolate South Africa. Don't invite them to the sports. Don't invite them to this. Make them isolated. And then have internal conflict. Usually that's with like terrorism. And so with the individual saying, oh, I'm an individual, I was born this way, and coming up with all these different kind of ideas, isolating them from everyone else, because I'm like this, you're not like this, you don't understand me, I'm isolated, and then I've got this conflict inside. This is how they, tear to pieces things. And one of the things that I don't like about the attitude with dealing with the government attitude with dealing with COVID is that the family is the enemy. If someone has got COVID, don't go to their place. You're not allowed to visit your elders. You're not allowed to visit, and it's breaking down the family. The whole concept is, if the concept was, okay, how do we cure this as a family, not as an individual, then there's better understanding on, okay, how should you relate inside the household, and that way you can open up the society more so that you can actually visit the people with, and, get the family together, have a cure, family orientated. Yeah, there's a lot that's going on with this individualism, with the attitude of government that we are individuals. No, we're family. We need the yin yang together. We need the whole focus. But anyway, that was just a few thoughts that I've been going through as well these last few days. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Rai, go ahead.
Good morning. About fallen nature, and when I was Japan, I was under Mr. Furuta. He was a good leader, but one sense he's a fearful leader. And once in front of everyone, I was pointed out. I tell you, a fallen nature. You have a 3 big problem, and then that is an incredible severe point, and that's true. Then that night I could not sleep. I was thinking, then I find out more than 3. Then next day I said to Mr. Furuta, you told me you point out 3 points, but that is not only 3. I counted last night. I counted 11. Then I remember, we have a lot of fallen nature. That is true. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rai. Yes, Anna, go ahead.
Just some thoughts of actually about COVID. Just thinking how the impact of this is so enormous. It's really changing our culture without, I think, people thinking about it, just following the rules that are given to us. But really the long-term consequences of it is enormous. And the only way, and to cope with it in a positive way as possible is I ask myself, okay, how can I use this time in productively in a more positive way, or for God? How? Then I just think, well, maybe I can just ask God how we can utilize this time so it's more positive. It's not thinking about, wow, this is really separating people from one another, separating families. The negative aspect of it is, it's not good. So to counteract that is just to think what positive ways we can utilize it in terms of learning more, communicating more with God to understand how we can move forward in a positive way. That's all I wanted to share. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. We have time for a couple more. Yes, Jeff, go ahead, and then Kim after Jeff.
Yeah, I guess we're going through all kind of pressure at the moment. I've been going for a daily walk around the block, and one point I thought, thank God for COVID. Because without such kind of pressure, we don't search for God and we don't search deeply for answers, so otherwise we'd be down at Bondi Beach just enjoying ourselves probably. For a lot of people traveling to the Mediterranean, and but it's really causing us to really think and try to solve things and try to solve family problems. We're locked in together intensely with one another. So I just think that, as Mother said, heaven can no longer wait, and within, before we know it, we're all under this incredible pressure. So to be able to, what can I say? Yeah, everything's sort of coming out, all our fallen nature comes out, and the conspiracy theories, and everything is out there, so, and then we have to solve them. And I think what Reverend Yamada sort of finally ended up by saying was, we need to find a common agenda, how to create an ideal society. So that's the thing, we're thinking about on Tuesday, I think it is, the PCLC ministers and others are going to come together. So we have to come up with some understanding about how to find common ground, to solve the problem, and so that's really good. I know that, when we have these RIS service projects, we don't talk about the theology and all that kind of stuff. We talk about cleaning up a building or a facility, we work together on it. And through that, we make friendships. So anyway, we're really in an incredible time. And sort of some people thrive on the pressure, and it causes them to really focus, and not just think about enjoying themselves, but really on the issues at hand. So I think we're all under a lot of pressure, and which I see as a good thing, and be serious about life and how to resolve these issues. Yeah, Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, I was just reflecting on, humanity is so messed up in so many ways. And I was thinking about, when you get married, you become one. And when I first got married, of course, we have a shared bank account and everything is just within the family. And so when some issue came up, having to call the government or whatever and to resolve some problem, you get on the phone and they say, well, who are you? And well, I'm Naoko's husband. Oh no, I've got to speak to Naoko, right? And for me, that was a kind of a shock because we're the same, like, but we know that the government has come to the point where, because people are so fallen, so untrustworthy, that we have to treat everyone as an individual, even within a marriage. And the government always comes up with solutions or to deal with our fallen nature. So you go into a supermarket and you have to be scanned, or you have to have your bag checked, right? Because nobody is to be trusted, even if you're a trustable person, right? It'd be very lovely and ideal if we could all be trusted, but the fact is we're not. So many of the solutions that exist, and through COVID as well, are because we're not trustable. And the great body of humanity is not trustable. There's enough people that make it hard for other people because they're not trustable. And but that's always been a dilemma. And for people who have an ideal, it's very hard, because it's hard to sell the ideal when you have the immediate pressing problem. It'd be great if we could trust everybody, but we can't. And so it's the same with so many things. Religious people tend to be very ideal, but in fact, the government or authorities, even ourselves, we have to deal with the real right here and now, and the consequences of other people being fallen, or our own fallen nature ourselves. So yeah, anyway, it's that always that conflict between what is we would like to see and the ideal we'd like to get established, but the reality of the world around us and the so yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Kim. And just last person, Jacinta Moreau, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, brothers and sisters. I had a bit of a realization when I heard the three words in the speech just now: materialism, humanism, communism, atheistic materialism, humanism, communism. First of all, just having those three words in a row, I just naturally thought of the three blessings, or we should become ideal people, have ideal families and ideal worlds. So humanism is sort of, atheistic humanism is sort of against the first blessing, and then atheistic communism against the second blessing, and atheistic materialism against the third blessing, which I hadn't really thought of it like that before. But then thinking about our Oceania region and how Father said, the unified world will come from here, we've been focusing a lot on the Christian foundation, Christian principles, and the Constitution, and everything, but actually even the societies in the Pacific, there's elements there already of universally shared values and interdependence and mutual prosperity. And these things, if we can make those theistic, like God-centered universal values, God-centered interdependence, and God-centered mutual prosperity, then we've got the God-centered three blessings. And with the communal societies in the Pacific, and with the way that they still are trying to hang on to God, and with also the way that they share resources within the communities, I think we've got a leg up in our Pacific region to establish those things.
Yeah. Thank you, Jacinta. Thank you, everyone. Yes, it's that time for us to offer our unison prayer. So we have lots of things we can pray about to help us find the concrete solutions, so that we can really build a world of peace and harmony. So I'll just begin. So let's pray. Adieu, adieu, adieu. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day, and enjoy the Think Tank 2022. Thank you.
Thank you.